Hi there, I'm Julie, and today we're going to be talking about, does skinny ever go out of style? Now, this seems like kind of a harsh-ish question, but I think we've all seen the trends throughout the years, especially early 2000s, where everything was about your body and why it sucks and why it's not good enough, including people who are extremely, extremely attractive. But I think we went through an era of body positivity. But let's rewind back to February during the Super Bowl, where the ads were not only horrible technology of spyware and AI slop and all of that, but there was also an overarching theme of you're fat. And I've definitely seen a ton of discourse online about this entire thing, like the whole Super Bowl ad charade, and I'm sure many of you did as well. But the one I want to focus on as far as the doom and gloom part goes is the you're fat aspect. Because what a weird time to be alive, where Mike Tyson is declaring how he was an ugly fat chud at the ripe old age of whatever he was at. Meanwhile, he was the world's youngest heavyweight champion at the age of 20. Now, how do we go from associating fat to bad, especially when you're a heavyweight champion, the youngest one in existence? Like, that's a very weird thing to have happen. And of course, along with the whole, I ate a pint of ice cream every day. I never saw an apple before in my life. There was also the pairing of the GLP-1 ads with the weird era of this is gonna make you feel better. It's the easiest way to lose weight that there has been in years. And I don't know if you know what GLP-1s are, but they're called GLP-1s because they're glucagon, like peptide ones. So GLP-1s, glucagon, like peptide ones. So basically you're reproducing this peptide that usually signifies when you're full, like that's what gets released. So that's kind of the chemistry that's going on. And of course, Ozempic is a prime example of this, and people have been accusing celebrities and other people of using it for a while now. But along with all of the Super Bowl ads, I think it really started a discourse on the skinny is becoming trending again. I think we also see it in somewhat of the fashion trends with the low-rise jeans and pants in general. That was definitely out of style for a while. But I do have a genuine question for the public. Like, does skinny ever go out of style? Like, even in times where Kim Kardashian was really blowing up, I think a very big part of that was that skinny waist, like that hourglass. There always has to be some sort of a skinny aspect to strive for, I think, at least as far as the media says so, you know. And I think also, I don't think there's ever been a time, at least in my life, where it hasn't been, oh, I should look less skinny. I think the goal is always, I should lose weight, which is a really weird thing considering I'm only 20. So that's not looking good for the younger generations. So sorry, guys. And a big part of this is definitely body shaming has been something the media has been extraordinarily good at for a very long time. Of course, when a lot of the giant media companies are controlled and owned by men, it makes a lot of sense to uplift these celebrities into stardom and then make sure to body shame them into oblivion so no one can ever be good enough. But I think it also helped to control how successful this woman could be, because, you know, you can only be a movie star or a model or an actress if you are below X amount of weight. Like, I think that's a thing that probably existed, right? Like, didn't see a lot of variety, especially in older 2000s movies. Everyone looked pretty much the same, which of course is when other media companies you were able to post yourself, such as like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Even though these companies are also evil, it allowed people to express themselves based on who they are and not have anyone really influencing that or paying for that. if this makes sense. So I think you see a lot more versatility on the online space, but this also still opens your eyes up to how much hate there is on the internet in general, especially surrounding people's bodies and their body image. And of course, this can be a really positive thing, having positive role models and people with positive body images expressing themselves online can be super helpful to a ton of people. Not just women and young girls, but I think guys as well. When the media expects you to look this certain way to be considered good looking or worthy of love, I think that's very problematic to wherever you're at. Whether you're young or you're old or you're a girl or guy or whatever. Like, I think it's a very problematic thing where you don't have a lot of control over that. You don't have a ton of control over your body when you're a kid. You are growing. You are not gonna have super ripped muscles at 14 years old. Like, I love your enthusiasm. That's just not gonna happen. And that's fine, and that's good. You shouldn't need that to be deserving of love, and you don't. And I think that is a really big part of some of the influencers, like their entire brand is, you know, encouraging people that look like them to be different. However, with these influencers, sometimes you do see them kind of just retract their whole message because they change their entire body. Like, I know one in particular, there was a lot of discourse about, I don't remember her name, but like Clara, I think is her first name. She was like, oh, like flat chested, like you are still beautiful, but then used all that money to go get a boob job. So it was like, oh, so you don't actually think that. You don't actually love your flat chest, and you don't think I should love mine either. Like, that was a thing. And so I think in that way as well, people can get really attached to certain people carrying the entire brand of being this kind of influencer and this kind of person. And that's its own type of tricky thing. But it is good to have people of different body types being like, this is what my body looks like, and that's okay. And I love it, and I have a great time. And I love that. That's spectacular. But I think media overall has always had the undertones of like, being fat is bad. Like, and not even being fat, like they would show people of like super skinny people and be like, too fat. And that's crazy. Like, that's gotta be insane. Like, you would see a ton of beautiful, beautiful people getting called fat. And it's like, you're definitely not fat, right? Because if you're fat, girl, what am I? Girl, bye. Like, hello? So I think like overall media has had that. Like, name one TV show or one movie that hasn't had a theme of like body shaming in it. I don't think you really can. And if you can, congrats, and that's my bad. But any off the top of my head, I'm like, there's definitely an episode of like people trying to get skinnier, or people making fun of someone who's fat, or even in movies, like the fat person is the punchline, or like the acne is the punchline. Like, it's always something. It's always something about how people look, which is very strange. And I think, especially in American culture, people are very obsessive over the idea of body image, when a lot of us are just regular people trying to live. But especially the Hollywood, and I think more now LA, people are very, very obsessive when it comes to that. And the media in general always has been, especially for women. Like, but of course, a lot of this goes back to my question of, does skinny ever go out of style? Like, has there ever been a point in time in American media where it has been frowned upon to be skinny rather than fat? Genuine question, because I don't know if there has been. I personally don't think I've ever seen that through my life, at least. I think skinny has always been associated with beauty and discipline, and like being fat is always like, ooh, you're lazy, ooh, you're ugly, and you're gross. And are these opinions, I'm like, oh, I see you and I think that? Absolutely not. But are these opinions that have influenced me and my thinking for myself? Absolutely. Like, I don't think I've ever considered myself skinny, personally. Like, it's just not been my thing. And that's fine. I'm good with that. Much better with that now than I was in high school. But I was looking at a photo of myself from high school the other day, and I was like, you are skinny, girl. You are just skin and bones. Like, you have nothing else on ya. And it is crazy because at that point in my life, I definitely was like, wow, I need to lose weight. Ooh, yikes. I don't think you do. But it's definitely something that is always nagging at the back of my mind. And I think always has been. And I don't know if this is common for a lot of people or if it really is just a me thing, but I haven't let it affect me too much. I've always been much more food motivated than anything. So I'm like, well, I'm fat, but send me over those nacho fries. And what about it? Like, even though I don't think I'm fat, I don't think I'm skinny, I think I'm like just chilling. I think I'm just chilling. That's all, like please. Who knows? But that's okay. And you don't have to have a label, and it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, if someone wants to criticize you for how you look, they're gonna. It doesn't matter if you're 120 pounds or 320 pounds. If someone's like, oh, you're too skinny, or oh, you're too fat, they're gonna say it. People don't care. People are haters. It doesn't matter what you look like. Sorry. And some people you will genuinely just never fit their standards, because that is the point. These standards are impossible. The bar is always getting higher and higher all the time from everybody around you. And the media does not help with that one bit. But even though I think people do get criticized for being too skinny and too fat, I think that is a thing. There is definitely, I think, more of a disgust with the you're too fat. And maybe that's just something I've seen in the undertones, and maybe that's not how a lot of people see it. But I think a lot of people are insecure. I think that's a very normal thing. Like, even if you don't love your body 100% of the time, I think that is 100% normal. I think there are good days and bad days sometimes. That's totally fine. But I think in general, you need to keep in mind, like, your body might be somebody's dream body, and sometimes live it that way. Now, I'm not saying you can't be insecure. Do whatever you want. That's your brain. You can't always control it. But maybe sometimes be like, I bet someone would love to have my body. I'm sure someone thinks this is so pretty. And I mean, they probably do. Like, everybody gets insecure though. It's just the way your mind works. It's not possible to be confident 100% of the time. You're not wired for that. That's okay. It's fine. As long as you're aware that at the end of the day, your body isn't up for scrutiny or debate. It is yours. You should respect it. And even if you don't always love it, you need to respect it, because that's your meat suit. You need to treat her nicely. She's trying her best. And of course, I said this earlier, but I think the media is very obsessive with body culture and the way bodies look. And I think that's super problematic because it does cause people more insecurity than they already have. And that is a lot to deal with. That's a lot to get thrown at you, especially as a young kid. And I think we know, like, eating disorders are on the rise, like depression is on the rise, like it always has been, but I don't think it's gonna get any better. But the entire reason for the media being like this is because that's the way consumers have shaped it. Because what are you gonna buy? This magazine that's like, oh, this person is enough. Their body is great. Or the magazine that's like, this super stellar, famous, rich person gained 10 pounds last week and is ugly now. Like, it's all about the headlines, and people love to hate. That's not a crazy thing. Look at the internet. You know how many people just love to hate for the fun of it, for no other reason than it's different than what you experience on a normal day-to-day basis? Like, but I would say the general populace, the way it treats body image is extraordinarily concerning, especially when we have these resources now. We have the ability to take mental health seriously, and people still don't end up getting help, or things go unnoticed until it's too late. Like, eating disorders are a real problem, and people die so often from them. It's horrible. And of course, you can't ask everyone to be positive all the time. I just think it's a good thing to keep in mind that you need to watch yourself. You need to understand that the cards were always stacked against you. It doesn't matter how much you try. Your dream body, I don't know if you'll get it. I don't know if it's possible, because not only do your expectations keep rising, but so does everybody else's around you. you can't win. The bar is always going to be out of your reach. And that's the entire point. That's the whole point. Because if you could reach it, then you would be happy. So I think sometimes it's good to not count the calories so much. I don't think you need to be always looking. I think sometimes you just need to take it slow. Eat a bag of Doritos. Eat a sugary snack. It's not going to kill you. In fact, it might be good for your brain, help you regulate a little bit. But I also understand exercise can be fun. Go on a run. Do something with your body. Move around a little bit. I think that balance is the key to everything. Like if you have too much exercise and not enough food, you are going to burn yourself out, hurt yourself, injure yourself. It's going to suck. But if you go on the other side, you also might not be able to move because you won't be used to it and you'll feel awful. Because I know I feel awful when I lay in bed all day. I feel terrible. I feel like I haven't done anything. Even if it's just a little bit of physical activity, like going on a little walk. Like, I think that's good for you. I think it's good to see the sun. Go outside. Please. Please. But all in all, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't think skinny is ever going to go out of style. I don't think it's capable because it's been the ideal beauty standard for so long. Even if it's not skinny this way is still just as problematic because you're never going to live up to whatever standard is trending right now. It's just not going to happen. And on top of that, I think you're going to get criticized regardless of how you look. Like, that is just the nature of people. You being too skinny or too fat, that is something people could say and might say and will say. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter based on what other people think of you. I think you just need to see if you feel good. And if you don't, maybe try and change that. But if you don't want to, don't. Like, I think it's very important to understand the duality of it, where you need to feel happy for yourself before you can even think about accepting others have to say about you. And if you do accept what others have to say about you, it still might not be positive. Basically, all I'm trying to say is even though I think many people strive to be skinny, at least around me and in what I've seen, I think that it really doesn't matter, because as skinny as you get or as fat as you get, people are probably going to criticize you either way. I think you just need to learn to be happy with yourself and try that route, perhaps. But like, it's definitely not easy. You have to like confront a lot about why you think this way and why, even though I thought 4 years ago I was fat, I actually wasn't. And now I'm like, wow, I was skinny. And it's a very interesting feeling. But I think that's life, and you gotta learn. And that's okay. So you just gotta take your time, and definitely don't starve yourself if you're trying to lose weight. It's a bad idea. It's a really bad idea. Don't do that. It's just bad. And it's not going to actually help you get stronger or feel better or get skinnier even. Like, look it up. Sometimes genuinely you will eat. If you don't eat, your body won't always burn off all that fat because it thinks you're starving and dying, because you are. And if you eat something, then it's just going to save as much of that as fat as possible. And so breaking that cycle is really hard. That's why you need to take it slow. But you only have one life, and sometimes you should just eat that extra snack before bed. It's okay. At the end of the day, your calories are not going to keep score on how valuable you are. It doesn't matter how much you've eaten that day. Like, you are still the person you are inside, regardless of how your body looks. You might still be an awful person, or you might be a good person. Your calorie count isn't going to change that. So, even though your brain can play cruel tricks on you, just know that maybe your body might be somebody else's dream body. So, perhaps try it out like that sometimes. Live your life, eat a cookie, eat some veggies, get a good mix. Balance is all you need, and a little bit of good luck and a little spark. then you'll live a great life. Yeah, I don't know. This conclusion is like just not eating, but sorry. I guess the goal is what? Try not to take yourself so seriously and live. Yeah. Okay, bye. Exhibit A. I'm the same person.